Welcome to the weekly webinar on Java Development and Testing Tools course. And today we are going to cover three topics. We are going to cover Checkstyle, and we are going to cover PMD, and we are going to cover Find Bugs. And next week we'll cover more important tool called the Sonar. All right, so let's move on to the presentation. So we'll start with the Checkstyle. So it's going to be a pretty short presentation and short demo on each of these topics. So let's move on with the Checkstyle. So these are the topics that we are going to cover regarding Checkstyle. So why coding standard? This is kind of obvious, I'm sorry. So coding standards lead to greater consistency within your code and code of your teammates. And that leads to easier to understand, easier to develop, and easier to maintain code. The result is reducing overall cost of application development. So why you want to use Checkstyle? So Checkstyle is a tool that you can use to enforce this coding style. So it automates the process of checking Java code so that you can see whether some code that you got from your teammates are in fact compliant with a particular coding style. And Checkstyle is highly configurable, so you can in fact pick and choose commonly used, well-defined rule set, coding convention, for example from Sun, or you can create your own. So features of Checkstyle can check many aspects of your source code, as you will see in a few minutes. And historically, its main functionality has been check code layout issues, but the latest version, the version 3, they actually add a lot more features. So it's actually compatible to Find Bugs and PMD in terms of checking class design problems, duplication, finding duplicate code and bug patterns and things like that. So we're going to actually take a look at PMD and Find Bugs as after this Checkstyle. So there are some overlapping features among these three tools. So I'm going to take a look at a few examples from Checkstyle. So these are in fact ready to use checks, annotations, block checks, class design, coding, duplicate code, headers, import, and Java comments, and matrix. So these are the examples. So checks that array initialization contains trailing data. So it's actually better practice to have a trailing comma at the end of this array here. The rationale is putting this comma makes it easier to change the order of the elements or add a new elements on at the end. Okay. This check is basically allows not to add a comma if both left and right curly braces are on the same line. Equals avoid null. So this is a bad practice and this is a good practice. The reason is because if you are writing your code in this style, you will actually experience null point exception because this null string is in fact could be null. So these are just examples of Checkstyle. Modified control variables. So again, this is not good practice because you're actually messing up with two different places of incrementing this value. Okay, so how to get started with the Checkstyle? So you can actually run your Checkstyle at the command line like this. Okay. And you can run your Checkstyle with a configuration file on all Java files in a directory. Okay? And this is for each file, and this is for a particular directory. In general, you're going to actually use your Checkstyle with your IDE. So you could use Eclipse, NetBeans, IntelliJ IDEA. And it is integrated with continuous integration tools such as Hudson and Jenkins. And it is also integrated with continuous inspection tool called Sonar. And we're going to actually look into these things when we cover, for example, Sonar. Alright, so let's do a quick hands-on app. So the Checkstyle. So you're going to install Checkstyle plugin to Eclipse IDE. So you just go to Eclipse Marketplace and find Checkstyle, and then you're going to find Checkstyle plugin that you install it. And here we are going to run Checkstyle application, Checkstyle against the Pet Clinic sample application. Okay, so let's try that. I'm going to actually run this guy with a Checkstyle. Checkstyle here, and check code with a Checkstyle. So it's checking it, and it gives you a sense of where things are actually. I mean, these are the code. These are the code you can actually see. I'm going to put this code. So this is the code. In fact, this is the result of Checkstyle code. So in this particular code, it has a 4 violations. So expected param tag for ignore view, and the primary ignore view should be final, and things like that. In the case of, let's see, this one, it says multiple markers at this line. So 4 violations. So parameter owner should be final, parameter error should be final, and method validator is not designed for extension, needs to be abstract or final empty, and missing Java documentation. So in this case, if you just make this one, let's say, final somewhere. So let's say if you actually take a look at the documentation, what we can do is we can just set the final as suggested, like final here. So let's try that, just one. Final, and then let's save the change, and then we'll actually run the Checkstyle here one more time on this guy, on this particular code. Checkstyle and Checkstyle with check code without Checkstyle. So now you see that the 1 violation is actually removed. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just change it back. That's pretty much it, and you can certainly run this one. Yeah, so this is what we just have seen, and you can configure. Okay, so let's talk about the configuration. So you are going to go Windows Preferences and Checkstyle. Checkstyle here. So you can pick and choose different configuration. So these are the well-known configurations, Sunchecks and Sunchecks Eclipse, and you can certainly add your own. Okay. All right. So this is the configuration. Pretty straightforward. And yeah, you can actually run Checkstyle at the command line. So basically, you say Maven Checkstyle : Checkstyle, and then it will generate Checkstyle report, and you can actually run. So this is the one that gets generated. Okay, and then you can just read that HTML file, and you can actually get the Checkstyle report in the HTML format. Okay. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. So let's actually see. Okay, so let's actually see if there are any questions. In the meantime, let me just save this recording first.